Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Chase here at Rocky Mountain. Thank you so much for stopping by, and welcome to our 2025 Dual Sport and Adventure Touring Helmet Buyer's Guide. There's a lot of great helmets in this category. It can be pretty hard to choose which one you feel is going to be best for you, and that's why we have this video. I've got 6 helmets up here, and these are all ones that we've gone through and selected ourselves that we feel are going to be great options depending on maybe what your price range is, the technicality that you're looking for in a helmet, or certain features that might stand out to you. And I'm going to go through and talk about what makes these unique and why we put these into this top 6. But if you have questions or comments, please leave those down below. Nothing's going to help other riders more than your feedback. If you've had one of these helmets, please tell us which one you've had, what you've liked and disliked about it, or which helmet do you plan to get next, and tell us why. That's going to help riders out. And the last thing I will say too, in this category, well, fitment across the board is always very important with helmets, and we have our fit guarantee. When you buy any one of these helmets, there's 2 things I recommend you do. First of all, put the helmet on for an extended period of time, like you're going on a ride. Make sure that there's no hot spots, no pressure points, anything that's going to bug you. And then also what I would recommend is, this goes for moto helmets too, take the cheek pads out. Put the helmet on with just a comfort liner to make sure that you're feeling how it fits around the crown of your head, because a lot of times if it's snug in the cheeks, it might take away from how it's actually fitting in the crown. Do those 2 things. But if you get a helmet that doesn't fit you just right, you can send it back to us in brand new, unused condition. We will give you free shipping both ways on your first exchange to make sure you get the size and the fit that is going to be best for you. All right, with all that, let's dive in. Let's show you the 6 helmets that we have up here. The first 2 are the MSR Expedition and the Bell MX9 Adventure with MIPS. Both of these helmets are going to be a great option for riders that are maybe just getting into adventure riding and you're looking for a good, affordable, entry-level helmet option. Or maybe you go for rides, but you don't do maybe a lot of rides throughout the year and you just need an adventure helmet for those specific rides. These 2 are great. The Expedition comes in sub $200, so it's very affordable. The MX9 is going to be between $200 and $300. And so what separates these 2? Well, there's a couple features. They both have the MIPS liner system, which is a great safety feature. That stands for Multi-Directional Impact Protection System. A lot of people by now are familiar with MIPS, and MIPS is there to help with rotational forces. And what's nice too is that both these, they don't shine in one specific category, but they do everything well. We've worn both these helmets. They're both very comfortable. I just did a full weekend ride, 8 to 10 hours a day in the MX9 Adventure. And for me, it was comfortable. I had 0 hotspots. I had 0 complaints. They both have plenty of vents on there. Where these 2 helmets do fall short compared to these others up here is 2 categories. One is the noise. They're not the quietest helmet. With the MX9 Adventure, if I'm wearing this, I know I'm even going at higher speeds, I can't just do Bluetooth speakers. I've got to have earbuds in to cut down on the wind noise and be able to hear better. And they're not the most stable. They catch a lot of wind at higher speeds. And so if you're looking for a more stable helmet or one that's going to have less buffeting at those higher speeds, there's going to be better options for you. But like I said, they do everything well. A couple features that I like about each. One, with the Expedition, I love that the face shield, especially at this price, is optically correct and there's no bevel down here at the bottom. A lot of us, when we ride, we like to just barely crack our face shield to get a little bit of airflow going in. The Expedition allows you to do that, but you don't have that bevel at the bottom distorting your view. One feature I really like about the MX9 Adventure with MIPS is they do have a version of this helmet with a light sensitive lens. Yes, you pay for it, it's over $100 more, but if you've never used a light sensitive lens or shield, they're awesome. Because in sunlight, it auto tints, so it makes it easier on your eyes, but when that sun goes away, it gets clear again. So you're not worrying about putting sunglasses on and off throughout the day, or if you don't have a drop-down sun visor, you don't really have to worry about that. So again, good entry, mid-level options that have been great for us. Expedition, MX9 Adventure with MIPS. Moving on from there, you have the Scorpion XO18960. This is our modular helmet in the lineup. If you've never used a modular helmet, why would you want one of these? Well, it's all about convenience, because with the push of a button underneath the chin bar, you can lift that up completely out of your way. And I won't lie to you, I was just on this ride where I was wearing the Bell, and there was a rider in my group that had the Scorpion, and I was a little envious because when we would stop, I'd have to take my helmet off because I want to have a drink or eat a snack while we were stopping. This rider, nope, he just flipped the chin bar up, didn't have to take his helmet on or off. He was drinking, having snacks, doing all that, talking to people, and I could just tell how convenient it was to have a modular helmet in those situations. What's also nice about the Scorpion is bang for your buck. There's a lot of great features in here. You've got optically correct face shield. Again, it's gonna be flat on the bottom, just like with the Expedition. You have a drop-down sun visor, which talked about this. This is also very convenient. For me, when I was riding with the Bell, I had a tinted shield on it, and it was kind of a pain in the butt when the sun went down because it got pretty dark, and I would have to try and just barely crack that shield so I could see a little bit better, and I didn't like doing that. So for me, I think a drop-down sun visor is just another one of those features that adds a lot of convenience to the helmet. It's comfortable, it's quieter than the Bell or the MSR, but there is one drawback to the Scorpion that you need to know about, and that is the weight. And this kind of comes with the territory of a modular helmet. They're just going to be heavier by design. And this is the only helmet that comes in over 4 pounds of all the helmets that are up here. All of these, surprisingly, the Expedition, the Bell, and then the two Japanese, the Arai and the Shoei, were all about an ounce, within an ounce of each other. But again, the Scorpion was the only one over 4 pounds. We have a rider here at Rocky Mountain that has the previous version, the XO18950, and this rider, believe it or not, has done almost 30,000 miles this year on his V-Strom. And he said that the only thing that he has noticed that he's not the biggest fan of with this helmet is that weight. Aside from that, he said he's had no complaints. He's loved it. All right, moving on. The Arai XD5. And we also got the Shoei Hornet X2. These are the two Japanese helmets that are up here. And with the Arai XD5, if you were to ask us what's been one of our favorite helmets over the years that most riders here at Rocky Mountain have been wearing, the XD4 has been one of our most popular by far. But now you have the XD5. You gotta go watch the product spotlights that I've done on all these where I go into much more detail. The XD5 is just a more refined version of the XD4. But when you put one on, it feels just like the previous version. So what do we love about the XD5? It is the fit and the comfort. It's nice and quiet. And I'm gonna tell you now, for me personally, I don't think anyone does fit better than Shoei or Arai. When I put these two on, these are my two favorite fitting helmets that are up here. Just the way it sits on my head, the way it wraps around my chin. I don't know what these Japanese companies are doing differently, but they've got their fit figured out and we love it. Also, what's kind of unique about the XD5 is that the comfort liner, the crown, there's 5mm peel-aways you can take off to fine-tune the fit there. You can also do that with their cheek pads. Again, another feature we love about the shield on the XD5, like the Expedition, no bevel at the bottom. You can just barely crack that thing to get some airflow going in. It's not gonna be in your field of view. And then another unique safety feature about the XD5 is their R75 shell shape. Arai is a very traditional company. They've been using this round shell shape for many, many years, and here's why. What R75 means, that has a continuous radius curve of at least 75mm. Why do they want a round shell? Well, they believe that the rounder the shell can be, the more it will glance off of objects versus possibly snagging or adding additional forces to the rider's head and neck when you have a helmet like the Bell or the Scorpion or any of these that have sharper edges to them. It is a theory that Arai has used for years, and they've stuck to it, which I think is great. So again, the XD5, one of our favorite helmets, we talked about it, quiet, very comfortable. Moving on, you have the Shoei Hornet X2. This would be my pick for the rider that's gonna be doing long highway miles or just a lot of miles sitting down at higher speeds, whether that's dirt or asphalt, and here's why. The Hornet X2 is the second heaviest helmet up here, so when we try to onto it, you can definitely feel a little bit of that weight. Not by a ton, but it is just slightly heavier than some of the other helmets, but the fit on the Hornet, just like with the Arai, is so dang good. When you put this on, it is amazing to me how comfortable this helmet is. And also to me, and another rider here when we tried these on, it was the quietest helmet of all that are up here. And for longer stretches at higher speeds, if you're jamming out to music or you just want to listen, you're talking to other riders with your comm system, that's a feature that's going to be really nice to have. Shoei does have their own wind tunnel for their own testing, and that is something that's very, very important to them. So again, cuts down on the noise, awesome. Now the visor design, by all means, it's not our favorite looking visor, but when we talk about that wind tunnel testing, their design is to help make this thing as stable as possible and reduce buffeting as much as they can. So when you talk about a stable helmet that is incredibly comfortable and very quiet, it's gonna be hard to beat the Shoei in those categories. Another nice feature too is that with the shield has the most detents. It's got 7 detents or 7 positions that you can have that shield open while you're riding. The rest of these are 2, maybe 3. The last thing I do want to comment on with the Shoei and the Arai is that these are both the 2 helmets that are Snell certified. For some riders, they just want a Snell certified helmet. Snell is a nonprofit organization that has their own helmet standards that they test helmets to. And Shoei and Arai have believed that Snell has the best safety certification, and that's why they've continued to have their helmets be Snell certified. So what I would do is do some research about the different safety standards that are out there. I've done a video talking about those, so if you're not quite sure, if you're not very educated on those, you can give that video a watch. But again, these are the two options up here that are Snell certified. All right, and last but not least, you have the Klim Krios Pro. Who would I recommend this helmet for? I would say this would be the best option for a rider who wants lightweight. So as I mentioned, all these helmets, with the exception of the Scorpion, are right around 3 pounds 10, 3 pounds 11 ounces, in that range. The Krios is 3 pounds 1, 3 pounds 2 ounces. It is about a ½ pound heavier, or excuse me, lighter than all the helmets that are up here. And you will notice that when you pick all these helmets up, you try them all on, that's usually the first thing that you'll notice is how light the Krios Pro is. And why would you want a lighter helmet? Well, for all day rides, it's less neck strain. And if you're standing up, you're working hard on the bike, more aggressive riding where you're kind of leaning, you're tilting your head a little bit more, you're gonna notice that with the lighter helmet. Is it as quiet as the Shoei or the Arai? Definitely not the Shoei. It's pretty close to the Arai. It's comfortable, it's quiet, but it is super lightweight. And the way they do that is on the inside of the Krios, they actually have a material called Koroyd. And Koroyd is very unique because it's green and it's actually laser welded tubes. And what Koroyd does two things very well. One, impact absorption, but the other is because it's literally just tubes that you can see right through, it breathes incredibly well and allows air to circulate. So if you are doing maybe a little bit more slower riding on a hot day, that thing's gonna allow a lot of air to get out of that helmet and help that thing breathe. Another cool feature about the Krios, so the Krios, the Shoei, and the Arai all come pin lock ready, which is an anti-fogging system, which is known to be the best on the market. But another cool feature about the Krios Pro is that it's the only helmet up here that not only comes with an additional face shield, but the face shield that it comes with is a transitions lens. It's the auto tinting that I was talking about earlier. So you can swap those out. It's a shield that's very easy to change. And to me, that's a huge bonus. It's already an expensive helmet, so I think it's awesome that they include that extra shield, because for a lot of other helmets, when you want that transitions or that auto tinting shield, they're 100, 150 bucks more. So pretty cool that Klim is just including that with this helmet. And that's it. That is our 2025 Dual Sport Adventure Touring Guide. Again, I was very brief, so please go watch the product spotlights and learn more about these, know all the different details. But hopefully this is gonna help you decide maybe which one, or if there's two different helmets that you think might be best. And again, we would love to leave or give you our personal feedback, so make sure, leave your questions down below. To shop all these, to see all of them, click the link in the description or head to RockyMountainATVMC.com. We ship for a few over $75. And if you wanna stay up to date on product guides like this, get subscribed to the Rocky Mountain YouTube channel. I'm Chase, and we'll see you on the trails.